Alright, stem and leaf plots. So these are pretty easy, pretty short video. Stem and leaf plots are graphs that show numerical data arranged in order. Now it's in a certain order. So let's say 105 was our example and we were going to write a stem and leaf plot just for this one number. What you would do is you would draw a line. And this is like our division between a stem and leaf. Our stem is the first numbers that allow us to have one leftover number. So here 10, and we have one leftover number, which is 5. It goes on the opposite side. This is called a stem, and this is called a leaf. And the reason why we do this is because it makes our listing a little bit shorter and makes it a little bit easier to read data. And I'll show you how. Let's do this one for example. Here we have a list of numbers, and it wants us to write in a stem and leaf plot form. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line, and you're going to look at your least number, which is 189. Yeah. And our greatest number, which is 211. So the best way to represent this data is so that we have two stems. And our stems could be 18, and they have to go all the way to 21, because those are the beginning numbers of both those numbers. And we have one left over, which is our leaf. So 18, I'm going to start listing these from 18 to 21. So 18, 19, 20, and 21. Here, let me make this look a little bit better. Okay, now I'm going to do my leaps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here at my data, and I'm going to look at all the ones that are like 180 something. So how many 180s do we have? Well, we have one, and it's 189. So the only leaf I have for that one is a 9. Cross that out because I've used it. Now we're going to look at 190s. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 190s. So I'm going to list them out in order. So there's a 0. There's a 2. There's a 3. Now if there was another 3, I would write another 3. But there's not. So there's a 4. There's a 5. Another 5. A 6. And an 8. Alright. So now that we're done with 190s, we're going to do 200s. So we have 200, 201, 201, 205, and 208. Now we're going to do 210s, or the teens. So there's 211 and 214. So this is a stem and leaf plot. That's all there is to it. Now we can actually look at this data. If I actually laid it on its side, like this, have the 9 here, and then all those numbers right here, 6, 8, and then 0, 1, 1, 5, 8, and then 1, 4. It actually kind of looks like a histogram. So we can actually look at the data just like we would a histogram. And that's kind of like what we're doing. However, all we're doing right now is working on the stem and leaf plot. So let's go to another example. Alright, here we want to write all the data items or numbers that are in this stem and leaf plot. Now this is a weird stem and leaf plot. This is called a back-to-back stem and leaf plot. So we have two sets of data. We have a city and we have highway. So here we have city and highway. Now I'm just going to list the values. One thing you have to make sure is you have to look down here at this thing. It's a key. It said means 27. So 27 means 27. And then 28 means 28. Just like you would, but it's called a back-to-back because you have two sets of data that are using the same stems. So in other words, here's my stem, and these are my leaves. Okay? So, I'm going to write down city first. City, we're going to start up here. So we have 18, 18, and then 19. And then we're going to do these 22, 24, and 27. And then these 30. And there's not one on the 4, so it's just stuck there. Alright, so that's the city. So now let's do highway side. There's no teens, so let's go straight to 20s. 24, 25, 27, 28, 33, 33, 40. That's it. We just listed both those values. Now, the purpose of a stem and leaf plot is just another way to actually look at things. Here, when it says new car and the mileage, well, you could see that there's more mileage on a new car in town, in the city. I mean, less mileage in the city. More mileage on the highway because of how the graph looks. It's just easier to see things. On the highway, most people do about 24, 25, 27, 28. In the city, most people stick around both of these areas, from the high teens to the 20s. So it's easier to answer questions like detailed questions when it comes to these. And that's pretty much it. Those are stem and leaf plots. That's the end, folks.